Hello everyone, welcome to the March 10th League of Legends DFS slate breakdown. Quickly before we get started, this is only a 3-gamer. It's supposed to be a 4-gamer, but I'm sure as you guys have heard by now that the OMG team has all taken up a 14-day quarantine from, don't know if they tested positive or not, but there's something happening with COVID where the team is going to be quarantining for 14 days, and they I believe all 3 of their scheduled games that were supposed to be coming up got moved back. I tweeted out the schedule, the updated schedule. So there's I believe tonight should be the only night affected. I believe some 3 gamers are turned into 2 gamers, so it's not a big deal. I don't think there's going to be any more 1 LPL games a night. I think maybe they shuffled some things around. I'm not sure. But just keep that in mind. For Team OMG, they have a weird schedule coming up. It does suck for them, but I don't know. One thing is that they play all of their matches after the rest of the season is concluded. So that's pretty weird within itself. That's one thing. And then another thing is they play all 3 of their matches in back-to-back days. They play, I believe, March 23rd, 24th, 25th, or something like that. Maybe it's 24th, 25th, 26th. I'm not sure. But the point is that they have a brutal kind of like 14 days off, and then it transitions into 3 straight days of league matches. I'd imagine they're probably going to be playing for a playoff berth, given how their schedule is, how their standings are at the moment. They are in the 10th slot. They're right in the thick of it with teams like FPX. I'd say AL, honestly, at this point, they're only 2 games back, I think. Their AL's technically 1 game back. RA's there. Somehow BLG maybe is in this conversation as well. So I don't remember what teams they play, but they're probably going to be playing for a playoff spot, and it's going to be a weird stretch for them. Again, this is probably the only night where you're really going to notice it. I think the only other thing is some of the typical 5 gamers we'd have on, I think, the weekends are going to turn into just regular 4 gamers. So a little bad, but could be worse. I mean, we've had some things with the LCK COVID stuff, so that have been much worse. At least they're giving these teams like a chance to play at full strength and stuff. So we do appreciate that. Again, leaves us in a weird 3-gamer tonight, 2 LCK, 1 LPL. I'm looking forward to this one a little bit. I think this one has some spots for us. Yesterday we had a quick breeze through of talking about games because I had the video out so late and I was pretty tired myself. So I think we actually did kind of okay. I think I ended up breaking even or maybe at a slight loss. I was on DRX RNG mostly, just the 2 duo combo there. What I ended up doing is I had a 4-man DRX with a 2-man RNG, and then I used the team slot one off of Damwon. As we know, Damwon ended up losing, but their team slot still scored okay. I believe they had about 40-something points, so they managed to claw some money back. And then my other one was a TT RNG, and obviously TT ended up losing as well. So overall, if we had a pretty bad day, but I guess if you don't get a 0 on a day when you're losing, you're probably pretty happy with that. So keep us afloat a little bit and continue on to today. And I actually do think today is going to be pretty interesting. It is a night where we are kind of forced to have to look at the LCK, and I do think I'm kind of coming around on the LCK. I do want to give a shout out. I don't think he's a viewer at all. He's a pretty busy man himself, but Emmerich, I believe I should know his Twitter handle. He was kind enough to give me a spreadsheet of some kills in wins and deaths and losses and that kind of stuff. So some valuable information there. And I'm not going to be sharing it, I guess, in this video until I figure out a format and how I want to present it, because I don't think he wants the actual spreadsheet itself on camera or on video, just from what I've seen. I don't know. Until I figure out how to incorporate the statistics, I'm not sure, but we still can use them, obviously. But So we are going to be talking about the main reason I brought him up was he's been a proponent of playing these LCK games for a while. I believe recently I heard him say he's been preaching it since the beginning of February. Does make sense. They have been coming through. I have been a proponent of Team No LP or Team No LCK. I think that's just kind of one where you're gonna have to take your lumps and maybe just kind of admit that I had a wrong general read on this thing. I think I got kind of baited into the surface statistics a little bit too much. I still think overall, when we do look at things like combined kills per minute, the LPL is going to be so high. But then again, we have to take into account game length, because if there's less kills but it's more time, it kind of equals out kill participation. It feels like the LCK kind of groups up and has a higher team kill participation. So they get more overall assists and that kind of stuff. I'm yet to figure out a way to find that information. I would love to see what teams have the most group kill participation, like the most group assists and stuff. Maybe I think it actually is viable on Oracle's Elixir. Like, for example, I guess if we went to LPL teams, we searched by this patch. So we have AL, they have 87 kills. Okay, this won't help us, I guess. Maybe if we went to players, let's try LPL players. This patch, we'll go with AL. So we know that they have however many kills. We just said 87. They have however many assists. So we know so we can maybe get an average of like how many assists there are per kill. Something like that. So I think there still is another level of deep dive that is possible with statistics at the moment. I do kind of have a lot on my plate at the moment, so maybe that's something I can try to get set up for summer split or maybe playoffs. I'm not sure if there's a break or not. The LPL season is winding down at the moment. We do have some teams probably finishing up their series soon-ish. March 14th. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be coming down to, as you guys can see, OMG have like the 24th and like probably the 25th and 26th as well. 23rd to 25. So yeah, it's already updated here. We do have some weird slates. It looks like maybe Wednesday on the 16th there's a thing happening. Again, I'm not sure. So we'll have to just kind of keep an eye out and play that one by ear. But the main thing is the slate is kind of coming to an end. It's about 11 more days of LPL action. So hopefully we can kind of recalibrate and try to get everything in order for summer. Don't know when that starts, but don't want to get a little bit ahead of ourselves. I guess quick recap. Ultra Prime got the 2-1 over T1 or TT. This was kind of kind of exactly as I expected. Although I did pick TT, that was just something like kind of a variance thing. I do think Ultra Prime was the better team. And they kind of got the job done. I was just hoping for a little bit more from TT. Both these teams, we expected sloppiness and some bad stuff, but I think general inactivity from TT was rather concerning. I would expect a little bit more conviction considering that they were playing for their playoff lives. Again, it was obviously going to be a really long shot, but I think just considering like that they're still playing for something. Like, I don't know why they're like losing and kind of like giving up so early. I don't know. It was just a weird thing there. So I don't know. There's going to be a lot of narrative stuff coming up as we get to the end of the season. We do have a lot of teams that are not playing for anything. Obviously, teams like Team WE, Thunder Talk, LGD, probably IG are already out of it. I do think we have... this is going to sound weird. AL and Ultra Prime both have the same exact record, even down to the same map score. They're both technically in the race for a playoff spot. I honestly won't consider Ultra Prime on the same level as AL. I feel like AL are kind of a little bit above them, and I think they're a little bit more likely to at least compete for a playoff spot. Will they get one? I don't know. Probably not. It seems unlikely, but I do think BLG have been sliding hard. RA, I still am not buying into their large win streak at all. OMG, they have, again, a lot of series coming up at the same time, so I don't know, it'll be weird. It's a weird thing to kind of look up to. Spent a lot of time ranting about nonsense, but the thing here is with the first series, I guess the LPL series is just this one. On the IG side, we do have Zika, Shun, Mole, Wink, and Lucas. Last time out, I believe they lost to AL, and I think it was a rather convincing 2-0, if memory serves. Yep, that was the last time we saw them. Again, AL looking pretty decent at the moment, so I don't think this is a terrible loss. I was rather torn on that one as well. These are both kind of my teams. It's a little tough, honestly. I feel like after IG made this swap for Mole, I feel like that helped them a lot. I know obviously it didn't work out for their last game. I just feel like overall Sika and Shun, I rate them relatively highly in the league. I think Wink, Lucas, and Mole can all fill a role themselves. I feel like they're a relatively decent team. Still lower level. I don't want to get that perception twisted at all. I think these are both still bottom 5 teams probably. It just kind of comes down to our expectations maybe for Team WE. Honestly, at this point, I'm just trying to not get baited into trying to go Team W here again. I do think they did have like glimpses of looking like a pretty decent team in their first series with Xie. Then they did fall off pretty hard. They do have Xing overstay. I don't know. I kind of just want to. I don't know. I feel like I could see this going both ways. I like both of these teams. I like a lot of the players from these teams. I like IG and Team WE going forward. Maybe this series will change that, but I honestly low-key kind of liked what I've seen from Team WE. I liked them playing through top with Biu. Obviously, Beishong had a really, really bad performance the last time he started a series. If memory serves, the last time Team WE played, it was against FPX, and they lost with Beishong, and I think they brought in View, or maybe they lost with View and then brought in Beishong. I can't remember. It was one of those two, but they swapped junglers mid-series, which was not something you typically want to see. Here, I guess we could just check the match history. Since we do have a little bit more time. So it was the RA series. I guess they started View, lost, and then went to Beishong. I don't know why this wouldn't bring up the FPX scoreboard. That's a little weird. I feel like it has been a while. Let's see. It would be next week. Something. Still a couple more days out, it looks like. Nope, even further. All right, here we go. So Beishong. No, it was Beishong all 3 games. So I guess it looks like they've kind of dedicated themselves to Beishong. I think that's the right move. I feel like this WE roster has the most potential of any of their options. I don't know. Both these teams just kind of have a soft spot for me. I'm kind of not sure. I think IG will be the favorite. I think they're going to be the deserved favorite. They've just shown a lot more than Team WE have. Obviously, we look just based off our record. Team WE is going to be 1-11, I think. Yeah, and then we have IG not that far ahead of them, but they're 4-8 as well. I do think one thing is their map win percentage is relatively close, 36-23. Again, both pretty low. But I think overall we have 2 pretty low level teams here. I'm going to be interested to see the odds in this one because I could see IG kind of getting a little bit ahead of themselves here. I think this is going to be a pretty close matchup. I probably would have it odd priced at IG minus 150 or something like that. I could see this one definitely going both ways, but I think IG have a little bit more consistency and proven a little bit more to us. So checking here odds, we have IG minus 210. Yeah, this is kind of what I expected. I do think this is relatively fair. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a lot really to break down here. I think this is a little wide, honestly. Again, WE have not really shown us a lot. They've just had a couple glimpses of good stuff. I think overall IG are probably getting, I don't know. I do think this is pretty fair. Honestly, like, I don't know. This is one of those things where like my head is kind of telling me IG and maybe my heart is telling me WE a little bit. I just know. I don't know. I feel like maybe because I'm so torn, I think this is pretty close. I should probably just take the underdog side, but I don't want to overreact really to IG here. So we look at IG. They had a good run of results for a while. Then they kind of fell off. I don't think losing to LGD kind of sucks. I feel like LGD are definitely really bad. I don't think losing to AL here is like that big of a thing. I know people don't rate AL highly. I understand that. I am a little bit of an AL fan. Like, I'm going to overrate AL a little bit. But I don't think that's that big of a deal. Like, we've kind of seen this story told so often this year in the LPL and LCK. We see a team, kind of built up. We saw that especially with IG. They beat BLG, they beat JDG, like they're getting built up, and then they let down to LGD, and then double down on letting down to AL. Had a little bit mini break here, 5 days or so. WE we know they are really bad. I don't know. This one's just torn. I'm really, really torn on this one. I feel like the IG side probably is the better one. I don't know. I think we'll just keep it option open for Team WE as an underdog if depending on how the LCK is looking. So I guess we could look over to the LCK. Don't have high level teams here playing tonight. We have KT versus Hanwha. I'm not sure if we have COVID stuff still happening at all. Nope, I believe all the Hanwha boys should be back in order, so yeah, interesting. Let's look here. Match history. Let's see. When's the last time Hanwha played? So they had Dudu, Onfleet, Karis, Samd, and Vista. So I believe they had everyone back. I'm honestly a little surprised. Like Hanwha's the underdog here. I didn't look at the odds, but I just noticed that on DK here. I guess it is pretty close. KT minus 150, Hanwha plus 115. I think Hanwha's a pretty fair underdog here. I like that spot. I like that spot for them, honestly. I don't think KT's been that clean. I think KT's been beneficial from a few Fiesta close games versus T1. I'm not sure why that's continuing to happen, but I feel like overall Hanwha have been a little bit cleaner. They have been suffering from like their COVID stuff, so I feel like their perception is a little bit down compared to maybe where it should be. Again, close 50-50 LCK game. Don't love it, but this is kind of what we're working with tonight. So I'm going to probably just lean on the Hanwha underdog side here a little. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. I feel like Hanwha were kind of picking things up together, getting stuff together. Before they had their COVID stuff kind of derail their season a little bit. I mean, they were losing a lot before that, but I think when you look at the KT roster lineup, I'm not sure why they're electing to go with Vikla over Arya. I feel like Arya was not the problem with them necessarily. I think name-wise, KT definitely should be better, but I think overall with how they've been playing, I like the Hanwha side a little bit more. I believe they should be back to their normal roster of Dudu, Onfleek, Karis, Samd, and Vista. I feel like they were getting stuff together beforehand. Hopefully they can kind of pick up where they left off before the COVID stuff kind of changed that narrative. So I think Hanwha's a good underdog pick. I like them a good bit for DraftKings. We'll talk about kind of what to expect from scoring, but I like Hanwha a lot. So they're probably going to be a solid underdog pick for me. That does kind of open up maybe the option to going IG, but I think we could still keep the option open of going double underdog here with Team WE and Hanwha. I think that's definitely a live option as well. Again, as you guys can see, we don't have a large favorite. I'd imagine IG is going to be the popular pick people go to. It does make sense. They are the favorite in the LPL game. People typically gravitate towards the LPL, as we've seen as of late. I think people obviously will have to kind of go to the LCK. Like, does make up 2/3 of the games here, but I mean, we have a Fredit Brion sandbox series. This one's could get weird also. I'm a little surprised by the odds here as well. I feel like we just saw Fredit Brion be like a somewhat sizable favorite, and I feel like sandbox have been the worst team in the league. So I'm not sure why LSB is like getting love here, really. Like, I honestly feel like Fredit Brion should be a little bit bigger of a favorite. Like, honestly, that's just kind of like the weird spot for me. Like, I feel like these odds are accurate, but I'd kind of move the odds from these games around, honestly. I'd do like a Price is Right, like odds flip on a lot of these games. Like if you're asking me, I think Fredit Brion should be the -210 favorite. I don't know, maybe that's like a weird hot take, but I feel like they've been a lot cleaner. They've been a lot overall better than Sandbox. I'm not sure where this like Sandbox love is coming from. So I'd move this Invictus Gaming -210 to Fredit Brion. I'd move Fredit Brion's -120 over to KT Rolster versus Hanwha. I think this game's a lot closer. Then I'd move this -150 back over to this IG side. I think we'll do like an odds shift there. All those numbers make a lot more sense to me than kind of what's listed at the moment. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm going. I'm not sure what the like pricing is. Looks like Fredit Brion is the like decent underdog or decent favorite here. Not sure how much rub they're going to necessarily get, but I like them. I think they're in a good spot here. We'll look at the numbers here in a second, but I think Live Sandbox typically give up a lot of points in defeats. So we'll look at LCK teams, LPL teams. Again, this is probably going to be a weird one, but I want to set the parameters to just this patch 12.4. I don't think, let's see, did the LCK play on 12.3? Yeah, they did a little bit, but the LPL did not. They did not play on 12.3. As you guys can see, it's not even an option here. I just feel like the game did change enough between these patches to where I kind of only want to see what's happening right now. I feel like when you do have different picks, like we take a mid lane, for example. Typically what we had for the longest time was, I don't know, Victor versus Corki. We had a lot of those Victor, Corki. I guess maybe there's like some Orianna in there. That kind of stuff. We just had slow control mages. They just kind of wanted to trade farm back and forth, come to team fights, and let it be decided there. I do think we have a little bit more proactivity now. I've been seeing a little bit more like Silas popping up, some LeBlanc. What else is there at the moment? We could take a quick look at the like match history stuff. So we had some Vex, Rise, Ari, Vigar. Ari, Vex. Like a lot of these mid laners, I think, are relatively aggressive. They're people you can like engage on. You can get fights started on. We are seeing some mix up in the ADC role as well. We're not just seeing Jinx versus Aphelios. We're seeing some Xayah. Xayah is, I'm not loving the Xayah pick. I'm honestly confused as why people keep playing it, but nonetheless, it's still like fine. I think Xayah's you can still fight a little bit earlier. Yeah, I think we're just seeing a little bit more proactivity from the current picks that are being picked in 12.4. So that's why I want to narrow my search to this. I know it's a very small sample. It's probably not ideal. I understand why people would not want to trust this data. But as we get a little bit more in there, it's like a stand I'm kind of willing to take. So that's just a little bit of reasoning on why I'm doing that. So adding our teams in here to the search. That is all we're looking at. So again, we know the combined kills per minute is going to be pretty high over in the LPL. But again, we look average game time. That's 29 and 33. what does that average out to? 31. They're like 31, a little over 31. Average game time over here. Average game time, like we have the KT Hanwha series. That's like an average game time of 35. KT's playing at a rather high pace. Hanwha is at a low pace, but I do think, again, when we kind of do average out a little bit more, these numbers should meet somewhere in the middle at like 0.7. But again, we're getting like 5 more minutes of game time on average. Maybe that's about 3 more minutes, maybe a little exaggerated there. But again, I do like when my losing team has a higher combined kills per minute. I like it when they're losing and giving up a lot more deaths on average. We could do quick maths here. They have 75 deaths in 4 defeats. What is that, like 17? No, it's 18. It's like 18 something, 18 and a quarter, I think. I don't know, but that's a good amount of deaths a game. Similar story here for Lift Sandbox, maybe even a little bit more. Looks like they have a lot more deaths in their losses. So maybe this is something when I can incorporate Emmerich's spreadsheet that he's gracefully provided me with. So hopefully we can figure out a way to incorporate that, because it does look like maybe KT and Sandbox have been giving it up a good amount of deaths here. So I do like Fredabreon. I do like Hanwha. When it comes to the LCK or LPL game, again, I just feel like this is close. I feel like all the leverage should probably be on Team WE. I think a lot of people at the moment do kind of standings watch, and I think a lot of one thing that's happening in the esports DFS sector, I think heavily, is the optimizer crowd. I think the game is becoming a lot more of hand builders versus optimizers. I'm definitely more of a hand builder myself. I do understand why people run the optimizers and stuff. They make sense and all that stuff. I'm not against them at all. But I do think it becomes like a little game of cat and mouse, where I feel like I'm just trying to play against them, and if I can get leverage on those people, because I feel like if I know where they're going to go, then I can just kind of take my stands that way. Are they going to be on IG or WE? I'd imagine they're going to be on IG. That's the thing. I just feel like all the Team WE stats are probably going to be relatively low. I don't know. I'm just not sure where people will go. I'd imagine IG would probably be like the most popular thing in the slate. I think it's close, so I'll just take the Team WE underdog shot. I don't mind pairing up Team WE and Hanwha, both underdog shots as well. I think that'd probably be a rather rare construction. And I like Fredabreon again. We've just seen Fredabreon. They've had some decent wins as of late. They've been a part of a lot of good like winning lineups as of late as well. I think it does make sense. I like going Fredabreon. I like going Hanwha. I like going Team WE. When deciphering like who I'm like the most, it's kind of tough. I feel like they all have their own merits. I could see any combination of these teams coming through. If I had to pick, I could probably go Hanwha 1, WE 2, Fredabreon 3, just because Fredabreon's pace normally is really slow. But again, I think it's really close between all 3 of these. I wouldn't. It seems a little pointless to kind of rank them. So now that we do kind of have an idea of the teams we're going to be looking at, we do want to quickly just try to run through the players. Do have to run it through the LoL wiki here, because you can't search cross league on Oracle Elixir at the moment. So when searching team, we'd add a Fredabreon here. It'll be Hanwha Life and Team WE. Again, sitting at the patch 12.4. This again doesn't kind of tell us what's happening in wins. This is all games from this patch. I mean, Team W stats are going to be pretty bad because they are 1-4. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, so we'll look overall, try to do our initial test of looking towards any groupings of teams. Not looking great in any particular area. Maybe Hanwha's separating themselves a little bit. But then again, Karis and Dudu are towards the bottom. Vista's towards the bottom. So I guess it's just Sam D and On Fleek, because I don't believe Willer and Bout are going to be playing. So not looking great there. Shie, Lava at the top, so maybe a potential double mid here. Henna Delight. Looks like Fred and Brion have definitely the more group up team stuff, so that definitely adds in their favor. Looks like Team WE are more towards the bottom end of that. Hanwha Life are scattered around a little bit. So now that we have an idea, maybe that Fred and Brion makes more sense as a team stack, we can look at individual players and see who we want to go to from there. This is typically just kind of running through of kind of what I do on a daily night. I know it's not the best idea, but I mean, I'm relatively busy, so and I think this kind of gives me enough information that I feel comfortable with. I mean, you guys might just have to take my word for it, but as a profitable player, I don't rake in cash. I'm not trying to say anything that's not true here, but as a profitable player, this is what I do. Maybe it doesn't work for everyone just because I do have a kind of a unique approach, but yeah, I mean, this is what I do. Looking like quickly for top lane, it looks like Dudu significantly worse compared to the other two of Morgan and Bew. Yeah, just Xing out Dudu there. If I'm going Hanwha stacks, or if I have a Hanwha secondary, I'm just not getting to Dudu at all. I'd want to get to Morgan or Bew, depending on how that lineup is being constructed. For jungle, we know it's Beishong, Umpty, and On Fleek, so we can ignore the top two. They're all relatively close. Looks like Umpty's kill share is pretty low. That kind of hurts his upside a little. But I can't imagine you'd want to be getting a jungle captain on this slate either way. I'm not sure how strict pricing is. Maybe if you did want to go something with like Fred and Brion and IG, that's a thing. I don't know. I personally would not do that just because that's probably the most popular build, I'd imagine. But for jungle, nothing really stands out. They're all relatively close. Jungle is just kind of whoever you want, whoever's in your stacks. So if you have a 4-man stack, you'd probably just want to keep your jungler in there as well. Yeah, I mean, again, super small sample size though for On Fleek here, 2 games. So, but there's still good numbers for 2 games. So mid laners, definitely a gigantic gap there. Definitely like Shie, that kill share and kill participation combo is absolutely insane. I'm definitely going to be wanting to get some Shie captain. Definitely maybe even pairing it up with somebody like Lava, who also has a really, really high kill participation there. Looks like Karis is somebody you'd probably want to avoid. 58% kill participation. That's just super, super low compared to who else you maybe could be getting in. Again, this is just who the teams I'm looking at, so I keep the links in the description if you guys want to change how you want to search these parameters. You guys can search for a different time length or different teams if you want. This is just kind of what I'm looking at, just running through my day of kind of prepping for tonight's slate. So I would not get to Karis, so that does X out to Hanwha players. Don't like Dudu or Karis. That makes it tough if you want to get to a 4-man stack. I'm not sure what you would want to do there. I mean, I feel like if you do want to stack them up, maybe you could try to open up the search a little. Let's add in 12.2, 12.3, and 12.4. So it's everything but the first patch. So not really old stuff, pretty much. So we can do that for top and mid and see if that changes anything for the Hanwha guys. They're still a little bit lower. Bew. Yeah, I mean, it helps Dudu out a little bit. Looking for mid lane. Helps Karis out a little bit. I guess if I'm doing a 4-man stack, maybe this is a situational one. I think Bew would probably you'd want to get in for sure. If you're doing a Fredit and Hanwha, I think Dudu would probably make a little bit more sense. For mid laner, I don't know. It's pretty tough to get to Karis there, honestly. So that's probably just gonna be my X out there. Maybe I'll have to get unique with how I want to build a Hanwha stack. I'm not sure. I mean, it looks like for Dudu, he is getting like Jace, who can get good numbers. Trinimir's not ideal. Gragas is okay. Again, super small sample. Definitely recognize that. Turning into ADs, it is Xing starting for Team WE, believe, right? Double check that. Yeah, it is Xing. Looks like he's a little bit under everyone else. I definitely would not probably be Xing out Team Xing here. I feel like although these numbers are bad, I think I'm just gonna. That's like a what's it called? That's a outlier situation, I think, where I'm willing to overlook where I'm gonna acknowledge this is a small sample. I'm probably gonna keep Xing in the player pool, but man, Sam-D and Henna, those are both really, really good numbers. Plus 75% kill participation, over 35% kill share. That's really, really strong for Sam-D and Henna. So maybe there's a case where you can try to stay away from Xing. Team WE numbers have not been looking good outside of Xie, so maybe that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, I think that's going to be my approach there for AD. Looking at supports, looks like Delight is kind of above everyone else by about like almost 10% over Vista and Kadaya. So maybe you just want to try to get to the Fredda support here a little bit. But again, I think getting to kind of whoever your stack is enabling makes more sense, makes more overall sense when you're calculating the like support. So yeah, I feel like I've kind of talked a little bit too much about I feel like my ideas and stuff are not that complex. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be my approach tonight. I don't know how I'm going to end up constructing my lineups. I don't even know if I'm going to do multiple lineups. I honestly, looking at those numbers, I don't know. I think it might just be a double LCK night. I might just load up a Fred at Hanwha. I don't know. The numbers weren't looking great there for a lot of things. I didn't really like what I saw from Dudu Karis. I didn't really like what I saw from Xing or WE as a whole. I definitely liked what I saw from Fred at Brion, so I'll probably be pretty heavy on them. Again, I think they're getting a little disrespected here in the odds. Unless I'm missing something and they have like some COVID situation. But if I'm thinking there's a COVID situation and that's what's causing these odds, then that's definitely a pretty cool indicator of kind of where I think these teams should be. I think Fred Brion should be a pretty. I think they should just be a larger favorite. So, yeah, and I was right. There is COVID news. There is COVID stuff happening. So I closed the article, but I spent all this time talking about Fred Brion. I should have looked this up beforehand, so I apologize for that. Because it did come out a while ago. Fred Brion, the latest LCK player to test positive for COVID-19. So this is the second game of the slate. So I don't think we're not going to know Fred Brion's lineup for sure. But is not going to be playing for Fred Brion. I don't know how much of that changes. It looks like they already have somebody on the roster. I'd imagine they would just drop down straight to Raptor. So maybe you do want to just get to that Fred Brion jungler there. I'd imagine people are going to be aware of that. So I don't think you're going to be getting any slick ownership on Fred Brion Raptor. Does the jungle how much does that matter? I don't think a lot. I think just swapping out one player is enough that you can cover up for his performance. I think jungler is probably the most important role when it comes to pro play. That does sting. I do think is a pretty influential player overall. But again, I think they can cover up for him a little bit. I do think the rest of the skill gaps should continue to go through. I think if they can get themselves in a decent enough place, they should be fine either way. So maybe you do just want to load up on Fred Brion and maybe leave out the jungler role just because we're not going to be 100% sure. Unless we do get some confirmation about that, I'll try to keep an eye out for it. But I wouldn't mind taking a shot on Raptor, just plugging him in somewhere. Although Fred Brion's numbers look great everywhere else, so who knows. Yeah, spent a lot of time talking today. Sorry about that. Kind of all over the place. And a lot of things going on with these slates at the moment. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might just end up. I might just end up making 3 lineups, loading in some Fred Brion, Team WE, and Hanwha, mixing and matching them. That's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. Um, Although I don't know, I might just end up kind of trying to condense it down to one lineup. I think if I do go down to one lineup, it'll probably be Fred Brion and WE. I think Hanwha KT would probably be the series I would leave off. I think going heavy on Fred Brion is going to be the kind of like big building block I use for tonight. So, yeah, I think that's going to be my approach tonight. I definitely like that double mid idea with Fred Brion, Lava, and Shie. But yeah, I think there's a lot of open options, a lot of close games, so we can always kind of build off of that. So that's going to be my approach tonight. Best luck to you guys tonight, and try to come back at it tomorrow with a full game slate and all that jazz. So I'll see you guys then.